You have so much potential, but the problem is it is being ruined by your short attention span. You don't know how to focus, you cannot study for long hours and work a deep focused mode. You start to believe that maybe you have ADHD or maybe you have a problem in your brain. I have designed a 7-day program based on evidence by science that will take your focus to the next level. I'm gonna share it with you in this video. I call it the hyperfocus project. Let's start with day number 1. So the priority here during day 1 is to lay the groundwork. Our aim here during day number 1 is to set the ground. And the plan is very easy. It is designed even by time. So this is during the morning, afternoon, and evening. So the first thing that we have to do is to optimize our study environment. This is why number 1 is to declutter. Think of clutter as obstacles. Every clutter you have is an obstacle between you and focus. I don't want to sound crazy, but my channel is full of tips on minimalism and how to declutter because I had this problem, and once I made this change, it really made a big difference. And number 2, it's very important here also to get a comfortable chair and to download some applications that will help you go into focus mode. And even on our cell phones nowadays, we have this option to go into focus mode. It puts all the notifications muted. And this is gonna probably take you a lot of time because it depends on how much clutter you have. And now we go to the section of afternoon. It's important here to set a schedule. You cannot work or focus or go into something deep if you don't have a plan. At least have a prelim schedule, what topics you want to target and how you're going to start to work on these things. Something that I usually do is I set blocks, time blocks. I allocate specific amount of time for each task because this helps me discover my ability to predict how much time each activity is going to take. And after that, you can start studying or trying to study. The first thing I suggest is to start with the Pomodoro technique. This might not be the best technique if you want to go into a deep focused mode, but it's important to start with it because if you're someone who has no focus at all, the Pomodoro technique, at least it gives you some guidelines. Now you can start studying or working, and then after 25 or 30 minutes, you can take a break. So in that way, you start putting some sort of structure to your study sessions. And finally, during the evening of day 1, you can start writing the checklist for day 2. This is something that I usually do a lot. I write my to-do list or checklist the night before. And it was a busy day, so it's time to wind down. You can start making your winding down routine. You turn off the screens at least 1 hour before sleep, and you can try to meditate for 5 minutes. That was day number 1. Let's go to day number 2. Now the priority here is to enhance physical and the mental energy. So I'm gonna focus a bit on the nutrition here. The first thing I usually do during the morning, during this day, is to drink a cup of water. I have this habit of the first thing I do is to drink a cup of water because during these 7 hours of sleep, my GI system is dehydrated probably, so it's important to rehydrate all my body. And then your breakfast is important because it can have an impact on your focus. So I suggest eating some boiled eggs, some whole grains, and you can focus on omega-3 fatty acids. So since this day our aim here is to enhance physical and mental energy, during the afternoon it's important to start to incorporate some light exercise into your study routine or focus routine. This is proven scientifically that exercise improves your memory and your cognition. And then after you finish your exercise, you go back to study. It's important not to exhaust yourself during the exercise. Its only aim here is to improve your focus. So you go back to study, and now you start doing something called active recall. I talk about this technique in the previous video. I'm not gonna burden you here with it, but the brief idea here is to try to recall the things that you have studied yesterday from memory. Don't directly go and reread them. So spend some time recalling things that you have studied yesterday, and then do another Pomodoro session here. And now it's the evening time, and since we're focusing on the physical activity and the mental energy, it's important to incorporate some lean protein, healthy fat, and do stuff like progressive muscle relaxation or guided meditation. Just search on YouTube, you're gonna find a lot of videos about this. And now we move to day number 3, which is focusing on focus techniques itself. So the morning, I suggest you start with 5 minutes of mindfulness or breathing exercise. This is also proven to improve your focus. And start early in the morning with the Pomodoro technique. Start your study sessions early on. Then during the afternoon, it's time to use our spaced repetition methods that I have talked about in the previous videos. And it's also important to take short movement breaks. So when you take a break, don't go to your phone and start scrolling. Go and take a small walk just in the house, around the room, 2 to 3 minutes, or maybe do some stretches. And finally, it's the evening. It's important here to prepare your tomorrow's schedule because things might get messy. Now we are at the end of day 3. And it's important also to journal for 5 minutes. It's important to reflect so far on what worked and what didn't work. And write these down because you're doing all of this plan so you can discover what's the best technique for you. Now let's move to day number 4, which is important here to build some momentum. So in the morning, try mindful breakfast. What I mean by mindful breakfast, so while eating, don't have anything next to you. Just think about what you're eating. Enjoy your breakfast, but also think about it actively. I don't know, it's not easy to explain. Probably you can find some videos or some articles about this. It's really interesting. And directly after you finish your breakfast, go and do again the active recall and use some visual aids like flashcards or some diagrams and pictures. And now we move to the afternoon. Here we want to try to increase our focus time by 40 minutes at least. So now it's important to stretch our attention span and our focus by 40 minutes. If you can, maybe you can do it less or more, but it's important now not to stay in the comfortable zone. Just try to stretch your sessions. And since you're gonna try to do that, you might become more distracted. This is why keep a distraction journal with you. Distraction journal is something like your go-to distraction writing. Instead of going to your phone every time when you are distracted or when you feel bored and you start scrolling, go to this journal and just you can jot down some ideas, make some doodles. This is a good practice. It keeps you more focused than going into the infinite scrolling. And finally, at the evening, it's important here to reduce our screen time because this is day 4 and we're becoming a bit tired and we have this habit of going to the screen before sleeping. So it's important to reduce the screen time, and as an alternative, we can try to read a physical book for 30 minutes before bed. And the physical book does not have to be something you are studying. You can choose something that you enjoy, maybe a fictional book. And now let's move to day number 5. The important topic here is to manage stress. And of course to decrease procrastination, because we are at a 5th day of the week of deep focus, so we might start to get tired and distracted. So in the morning, I suggest you do some box breathing. Box breathing briefly is about taking a deep breath for 4 seconds, hold it 4 seconds, exhale 4 seconds, and hold it out 4 seconds. You repeat it a few times and that's it. It's also important and proven scientifically to improve your mood, decrease the stress, and increases your focus. And now also it's important here to write your to-do list because it's always a good habit to keep track of everything that you are going to do. It sets the mood and it helps your mind to stay sharp. And I suggest you do a tiny small workout of 15 to 20 minutes here in the morning. And now during the afternoon, we have studied so much so far. This is day 5. So you're gonna do the spaced repetition again. It's extremely important here to test yourself because you might discover that there are many topics that you did not master yet. And you cannot know that unless you test yourself. So testing yourself has 2 objectives here. The first one is to solidify the memories. And the second one is to know what are the gaps. And don't get discouraged if you're not doing well on testing yourself, because it's important here to do the mistakes now so you can improve it later on. And finally, take mindful breaks of 2 to 3 minutes. Again, don't scroll and do these automatic things that we used to do. And during the evening, I want you to take another 15 minutes of walk or chat with someone that you love or a family member. This social interaction is important to shift gears. And you can see that I always stress on journaling. Well, journaling doesn't have to be a chore, but it's something nice when you have this habit. There are many types of journaling. I suggest you do this grateful journaling. You list 3 things that you are grateful for, and that way you remind yourself why you have all the reasons to be happy. Now let's move to day number 6. Here is to reinforce positive habits. So we have learned so much so far. It's important to solidify these habits. So in the morning, reflect on improvements in focus since day 1. So you have crossed a big part here. Since day 1, you have improved. You became someone different. Your focus, your techniques, and everything are different now. So reflect on that improvement, and why not start with some light exercise, jog or stretch. Again, just 15 minutes. During the afternoon, experiment with music designed for focus. You can go to this website of brain.fm. I put some lo-fi music. I sometimes put music from brain.fm. You can experiment with these different music that are designed to improve your focus. Some people like it, some people they don't. And now it's important to review the cumulative material. Since now it's day 6, so you've studied a lot of things and you might become burdened by this multitude of information. It's time now to recap everything, to review everything that you have just studied during this 6 days. And now during the evening, I suggest you plan how to incorporate all of these techniques into long term. So you learned some stuff and some things worked and some things did not work. It's important to choose what worked for you and plan how you want to incorporate these into something different, into your other subjects that you want to study, and reward yourself. Don't forget that for completing 6 days, this is not an easy plan. So every day is full of study and focused techniques. So reward yourself. I don't know, maybe go have a dinner somewhere nice with some people you like. And now let's move to day number 7, our final day here. Now it's important because we want to prepare for the future. So in the morning, review all the techniques and pick the top 3 that worked for you. And this is important now, is to create a personalized study and work schedule. You learned all of these techniques, not just to throw them away, but it's important for you to incorporate all of these into something that will make a change for you. So incorporate them for your own work and study schedule. And during the afternoon, it's important to simulate an exam or a high pressure situation or a real life situation, whatever you are preparing for. So time yourself, use the timer, plus work with no breaks for 60 minutes. Try to go for a full 60-minute deep focus, and now reflect on your performance. Did it work? You did well. You improved your focus. Now you can focus for at least an hour, or no, you still need a lot of work. And during the evening, write a summary, since this is day 7, the last day, of what you have learned so far. And don't forget to celebrate your achievements so far, because 7 days of defocus and changing techniques is not easy. Even if you did not reach a full 60 minutes of defocus, it's fine. You did some changes. You did a lot of work and improvement. So celebrate it and don't be hard on yourself. So as a summary here, I think this is the hyperfocus project. We went from day 1, laying the groundwork, and day 2, enhancing physical and mental energy, day 3, the focus techniques, day 4, building momentum, day 5, stress management and procrastination, day 6, reinforcing positive habits, and finally day 7, preparing for the future. I hope this was a quick and easy summary for you. This plan definitely is gonna improve your focus. This is based on evidence. I read many articles and I put this plan for you to improve your focus. I do a lot of these techniques and definitely they worked for me during my medical training, my medical school, and even now I still do that. I thank you so much if you have reached this section of the video. If you like such stuff, of course, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.